A medical bill can look official, urgent, and final, and still contain the wrong balance. It may include a duplicate charge, a service you never received, an insurance claim that was processed incorrectly, or an out-of-network amount that federal law may limit. Paying immediately can also make it harder to ask for financial assistance or negotiate directly with the provider. So before you put a medical bill on a credit card, stop. There are 5 things you need to check first, and the first is making sure the document in your hand is actually a bill. This does not mean you should refuse to pay valid medical bills. It means you must verify the amount before you pay it. Medical billing is highly fragmented. A single hospital visit rarely results in a single invoice, because you are interacting with multiple, disconnected organizations at once. For one episode of care, you might receive separate documents from the main hospital, the laboratory running your blood work, the individual physician, and the ambulance service. When these envelopes arrive, the natural instinct is to pay them immediately. Patients rush to clear the balance just to avoid late notices, collection agencies, and damage to their credit scores. But rushing to pay removes your leverage. Once the transaction clears, it becomes significantly harder to ask for financial assistance or negotiate a reduction directly with the provider. Creating a structured verification workflow before you pull out your credit card prevents you from absorbing unrecoverable financial errors. The correct process relies on documentation, comparison, and timely communication. That starts with check 1, confirming that the document in your hand is an actual bill and that it belongs to you. As you can see in this side-by-side comparison, the first document you receive is usually an explanation of benefits, or EOB. An EOB is a statement from your health plan explaining how a claim was processed. It is not a bill. Review your EOB for the amount applied to your deductible, your copayment, and locate the specific box labeled Patient Responsibility, or amount you may owe. When the actual provider bill finally arrives, audit the basic demographic data. Check that your full name, your date of birth, and the specific date of service are strictly accurate. Catching a misspelled name, a claim submitted under an old insurance plan, or a date when you received no care stops a false billing cycle before it demands a payment. Once you confirm the bill is yours, move to check 2. Compare the final bill with your EOB and request an itemized bill. This diagram shows why a summary bill is almost useless for verification. A single line reading "Hospital Services, $4,800" hides the actual data. You must ask the billing department to break that apart into an itemized list of individual services, medications, and facility fees. Looking closely at these newly separated line items reveals the exact procedure codes and supply charges the hospital is using to justify the total cost. Take those specific codes and cross-reference them against your EOB and against your personal memory of what happened during the visit. This is how you spot concrete errors. You might find the exact same medication listed twice, or a charge for a scan or treatment you never actually received. Forcing the provider to show their math turns a vague, mysterious lump sum demand into specific data points you can successfully dispute. If the math adds up but the price seems inexplicably high, proceed to check 3. Verify your network status and surprise billing protections. For people covered by most health plans, the Federal No Surprises Act provides a strict layer of defense against many unexpected out-of-network bills, especially for emergency services. This flowchart tracks an insured patient named Jasmine to show how this works. She visits an in-network hospital for an emergency. Weeks later, she receives a $3,800 bill from an out-of-network anesthesiologist she doesn't even recognize. Because the service occurred during emergency care, Jasmine can invoke the No Surprises Act. This legally neutralizes the practice of balance billing, restricting the provider from charging the difference between their billed amount and the plan's allowed amount. These protections do not apply to every high bill. In limited, non-emergency situations, an out-of-network provider may ask you to sign a notice and consent form. Signing that paperwork can waive your protections, directly affecting what you owe. If you do not have insurance or choose not to use insurance for scheduled care, your primary protection is different. You rely on the good faith estimate. This side-by-side comparison tracks a self-pay patient named Lauren. Before her procedure, she tells the provider she will self-pay and receives a written good faith estimate of $2,400. Later, the final bill arrives at $30.50. Because Lauren's final bill exceeds that provider's estimate by more than $400, she legally qualifies to use the federal patient-provider dispute resolution process to challenge the markup. Strict eligibility requirements and filing deadlines apply to these protections. You must consult current CMS instructions promptly rather than waiting. Identifying your exact insurance status and the nature of your visit dictates which legal framework you activate to block exorbitant upcharges. When you locate a coding error or an unauthorized charge, you arrive at check 4. Formally challenge, correct, or appeal the balance. Ignoring a disputed bill guarantees a bad outcome. Silence leads to late notices, aggressive collection activity, and permanently lost appeal rights. Your immediate first step is to call the provider. Explain the specific concern, such as a service appearing twice, and ask them to formally place the account on hold while the claim is reviewed. Next, trigger a formal internal appeal with your health plan. This means submitting a written request backed by copies of your EOB, denial letters, medical records, and a letter of explanation from your doctor. Gathering these records takes heavy administrative effort, but written communication creates a legally binding paper trail that stalls collection activity and forces the insurer to reconsider the decision. Even when a bill is completely accurate, it may still be unaffordable. Check 5 requires you to ask the provider about financial assistance before you ever finance the bill yourself. Putting a large balance on a medical credit card carries severe risk. A 0% promotional offer can hit you with heavy deferred interest if you fail to pay the entire balance by the exact deadline. Before you assume that risk, call the billing department and say, "I would like a copy of your written financial assistance policy." Reading that policy reveals direct-to-provider alternatives. You may discover you qualify for charity care, an income-based discount, or an interest-free payment plan managed directly by the hospital. Having an active insurance policy, holding a full-time job, or earning a decent salary does not automatically disqualify you from assistance. The only way to know the hospital's threshold is to apply. Exhausting these internal hospital assistance programs first is your best defense against converting a negotiable medical charge into rigid, high-interest consumer debt. This checklist scorecard outlines the complete firewall. Before paying, confirm the bill belongs to you. Compare the itemized charges to your EOB. Review your network protections. Appeal any errors promptly. And apply for financial assistance. A medical bill is a request for payment, but it should also be an explanation. You have the right to understand exactly who is charging you, how insurance processed it, and why you owe the balance. Medical billing, insurance rules, appeal procedures, and state protections vary. This video provides general consumer education and does not provide medical, legal, insurance, tax, credit, or financial advice. Consult your insurer, provider, or a qualified professional regarding your individual situation. Sticking to a structured verification workflow ensures you pay exactly what you legally owe, no more, no sooner, and never at the expense of your long-term financial stability.